Hi, gorgeous seekers. Welcome, Leo Clan. We are in a very interesting and powerful month. I've done a lot of the readings for a lot of the signs at this point, so I have a sense of where everybody's head is. And even when I felt through this month, it was like, wow, there's so much clarity in this month. There is so much truth seeking, authenticity, and clarity in this month. This time of year is always interesting as the sun is transiting through Libra and into Scorpio because, for Leos, especially if you're Leo rising, but even Leo suns and moons, we're exploring your house of communication and short-term plans, which is that Libran energy. It's very symbiotic to Leo, and then into your fourth house in Scorpio, right? And Scorpio energy is both nurturing and challenging to Leo. And when we start to have all this energy pouring into Scorpio, which we will, planets are starting to move into Scorpio like no other right at the beginning of October, we are exploring our internal world, right? The fourth house is ruled by the moon. It is about the internal. It is about our home space and our sacred space. Now, that's not to say that you're all just going to be sitting at home this month thinking about life inside. What I'm saying is you're exploring that fourth house energy of emotion, the people and the experiences that are within that world at really deep levels. And it adds to our conversation we had in September about vulnerability here in October, because the first note that came up for Leos as soon as I sat with your energy is you've got to be curious about this space. And it is an adventure like no other to go into this space, knowing that you are going to be challenged. You're going to have to learn new skills. You're going to have to learn new ways of expressing yourself. You're going to have to learn new ways of being seen, taking off your armor, relaxing, breathing into it. You are learning how to do all of this stuff. And this month is calling you into that ever deeper. So this is an adventurous month on the emotional front, and a curious month, and a month of learning new skills right and left. So I want you just to take a deep breath right now before I even pull any of these cards, and I'm really curious to see what comes up. Just take a deep breath and set the intention of being curious and open and soft enough to see what comes of these experiences. So let's just get a feel for this month. While I start to shuffle, I'm going to talk through the major things going on with the planets and the transits. So Pluto's going direct in Capricorn. That's a really nice, easy forward motion energy. And in fact, I just started my Patreon, and I will be adding a video there about Pluto direct, as well as weekly astro reports, write-ups, so that you can get a feel for the week, behind the scenes, hang out with me, talk about my personal journey. A lot of extras are going to be over there, so I'll leave that in the description box. But Pluto is going direct on the 3rd. Mercury is moving into Scorpio on the 3rd. So we have very scorpionic energy here, starting to truth seek, starting to want to get answers. Mercury moving into Scorpio also heralds in a pre-shadow phase before Mercury retrograde in November. We'll talk about that next month. Mars is going into Libra, and so there's like this directional, focused, connective thing going on there with Mars and Libra. Venus goes into Scorpio on the 8th, more Scorpio energy, more of that fourth house energy. We have a full moon in Aries on the 13th, and for Leos, this is going to be a visionary full moon. It's that feeling of, when you're out on a full moon night and you can see everything, you can see a really long way because the moon is so bright, even in the darkest of cities or the darkest of woods. It's that kind of full moon. It really does have that quality. Justice. And so, I think you're going to be kind of seeing who you are needing to be next. Who you're needing to be next and connecting in with that during that full moon. So that could be really powerful for Leos. We also have the sun moving into Scorpio on the 23rd, followed shortly after by the new moon in Scorpio on the 27th. And then the Mercury retrograde beginning in Scorpio on the 31st. So as the month, 3 cards wanted to come out. 8 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands, and the Emperor. Okay, I like this. I like these cards a lot. there's a consistency going on here with these first energies, at least, of vision, right? Visionary energy is very strong here, but that vision comes from good communication. It comes from connecting. It comes from being seen and being willing to share what it is that you need or desire. 10 of Wands and 2 of Wands came up. Lots of fire in this reading. I'm liking that. You know, Leos, I'm not asking you to abandon your innate way of being passionate and loving and tender and caring and bold and making big, bold choices. I think this month has a lot of energy in it that is actually quite supportive of that big, bold energy. However, it also means that you're having to take those bold actions within the context of also being a little softer and stepping into some really unfamiliar territory. 3 of Pentacles. Wow, the energy is really nice here, you all, and I'm very, very happy to see that. I know that September was a lot of workshopping of old trauma, of old fears, of old wounds. Even if it was all really good stuff, it was like you also had to sit with where you were uncomfortable, and it's nice to see that this whole circuit of energy is continuing to build forward into, see, it doesn't always have to be just hard and lost. So you can keep building into new pathways, new partnerships, and they don't stay new forever. You continue to build into them, right? And Queen of Cups. Okay. So we'll start with these 8 cards. I'll pull another card from my Cosmic Tarot at the end of our discussion here. I get like a little nervous even thinking of, like I have like some butterflies in my stomach as I'm talking to Leo, which is a really unique energy. And obviously I'm a Leo sun, so when I do your reading, it's always a little more personal. But even with that, you know, I zoom out and I'm looking at this whole big picture and I kind of get this feeling of, yeah, big, bold action is there. But that's where that curiosity and that learning, and that why that note was so strong for me, is that the curiosity and learning in that 4th house is expanding an aspect of your life into some really big, bold new territory. And what I'm noticing here for you is that there are some new horizons opening up for you this month. This is a month where, you know, like I said, you may be getting those glimpses of what the coming months are going to be bringing, and you're going to be having moments where you get to connect in with that. So let's just start with justice here. I always love to kind of take a moment with the first energy. Now, we are in Libra season for a good chunk of this month. The sun is moving through Libra, a very connective, loving energy, right? Like Libran energy wants to make bridges, wants to connect, wants to find ways to communicate, and justice is very deeply tied to Libra. Justice is also about clarity and truth and just saying what needs to be said or what desires to be said. It's not about holding things back or withholding emotion or hiding. It's about that clarity, right? Justice brings us an answer on something that maybe we haven't known how it was going to work out, or maybe we've been wondering about. Justice often comes at the end of a cycle where there's been a lot of questions and now it's time for an answer. But the answer can only come through great dialogue, right? And through showing up. You've got to show up to the moment in order for it to be received. But justice is telling me that this month is going to be very clear for you how to moving forward. It's not going to be a time of confusion or uncertainty. It's going to be a time of very clear things. Now for you, this has to do with the life you are building moving forward and about the role you want to inhabit in that. You are inhabiting new ways of moving through the world and owning that space and really owning your courageous energy. Part of this is the craft of the work you do in the world, right? The 8 of Pentacles is really great for getting clear on the projects you're doing and the things that you are contributing to the world and feeling like you are mastering those and you are getting those under your feet. And that is giving you a lot of this willpower and this strength when it comes to this Queen of Wands, Emperor energy, right? When you have clarity, and you know what you want to contribute to the world, and you know how you are moving through the world, and you've got that swagger, right? When it comes to the meeting of energies, like this Leo energy with this Aries energy, the meeting of equals, it facilitates for better discussions, better communication, deeper connection, because you have your own way and it is shining. Queen of Wands energy is pure empowerment, especially for Leos. This is Leo energy when Leo is feeling its most calm and centered, because a calm and centered Leo is maybe the most magnetic, attractive energy there is, quite honestly, because it is warm, it is nurturing, it is powerful, and it has that draw to it, and that is Queen of Wands energy. So you holding this space is telling me that you have a lot of empowerment and support this month. Even though you are getting challenged to explore this fourth house energy and to open up that door and to meet your newest version of Queen of Wands, it means that you are doing it in a way that is supportive of you. Now this Emperor, yes, I'm sure some of you out there are deeply involved with an Aries in life. The Aries Leo love is very real, and the connection there is very strong. The Emperor energy is also a meeting of a counterpart, right? This is a meeting of an equal in your world. And a lot of times, with Emperor energy popping in here, this is about directional focused energy. It's about empowered. These are fire energies, very masculine, and masculine principle of action through the world, right? It's not just receptivity, it's about taking actions, taking deliberate, decided, inspired actions that move life. And so Queen of Wands and Emperor are both like, we are going to be taking some actions. We are going to be diving in. This is not a time where you're kind of holding back and saying, I'm not sure. I think I just need to meditate on this a little while. Sometimes we have times like that, and it's good. Meditation's always good no matter what, even in inspired action months, probably especially in inspired action months. But this is just one of those months where there's action taking going on, there's commitment making going on, there's clarity, there's firming up of plans, there's things going on with that. And both Queen of Wands and Emperor are for sure the kinds of energies that want to sit down and do it. Now, here's what's interesting, Leos. I think there's so much refreshment in hearing this, right? Like, it's not a time of like, let's just go deep and like dig through the bones of all the pain. Let's go do some stuff. Let's make some things happen. Let's get in there. So part of you is going to be really tempted to overdo it, to hold it all together, to feel like you have to carry everything on your shoulders. You may feel even overwhelmed this month by the amount of things happening and all the things that need to get done and all the places you need to be and who you think you need to be. And you're working on your projects and you're getting it done and you're having deep conversations and you're connecting more deeply. There may be a part of you that gets really overwhelmed. So 10 of Wands, you're doing a lot, okay? This is not necessarily the quietest of months in many ways. It doesn't mean that it has to be pure chaos, but there's stuff going on. And with 10 of Wands, here's an invitation to find some new balance with this new version of yourself. Yes, you are busy. Yes, you are empowered, but you don't have to turn it into something where you're carrying the burden. In fact, you're meant to share this. And what I find really interesting is 10 of Wands into 2 of Wands. This is like two different ways of looking at the world, right? So 10 of Wands is kind of like where we are just so focused on like each dogged step through the path that we don't even remember why we're on the path. We don't have any vision of it, of that bigger umbrella, right? We just kind of we're here with all the weight on our shoulders today. And the 2 of Wands is that time where we are holding our dreams softly and we are open to that bigger picture. And I think there is a bit of a duality here, because what you're doing here in the 10 of Wands is actually benefiting this bigger vision of the 2 of Wands energy of expanding big out into the world. And remember to keep these two in dialogue, because it's easy to forget sometimes that why we're doing something, why we're moving through something maybe challenging, maybe that calls us forward, maybe that feels a little bit daunting or heavy, is often connected to where we're going next and how we're becoming that. And vice versa, if we just sit here and say, and we never show up for this kind of challenge, then we are never really going to get here either. So These two are in dialogue, and it's good to find a balance between Ten of Wands and Two of Wands because they both have a role to play in this adventure. Now, like I said, you have so much doing energy in this reading. I mean, everything is like, let's go. You are creating some shared visions. Three of Pentacles is a creative force, a creative energy. It's the shared vision card. So, and you know, like fire, earth energy is very much about the physical world and what we're building in it, what we're doing in it, what we're creating in it, the resources we have. And for you, all this Ten of Wands, Two of Wands, Queen of Wands, Emperor, Eight of Pentacles, Justice energy, all of it is about this shared vision starting to really get solidified. This is solidifying energy going on here in October. And I think this can be a little intimidating sometimes because you have to take on board a lot of new information. You have to keep being discerning and making a lot of choices, and you have to keep being vulnerable. And that's where this Queen of Cups is like riding on the tail end of all of this action-based energy. The Queen of Cups is connected to emotion and connected to intuition. We all know this. She's also vulnerable. She has this beautiful cup full of that emotive, intuitive, loving energy. And it's there. It's part of the conversation. In her world, you can't do all this external movement without this. And in many ways, what I feel is that this is actually the motor, the engine behind anything going on that surface, that empowered surface. So anytime you maybe feel overwhelmed or scared, come back to this Queen of Cups. Come back to that part of yourself that lets inner being, God, higher source, however you envision that, move through you. You got to soften up enough to let that move through you so that those actions you take are really, truly the actions you want to take. I'm pulling one more card from my Cosmic Tarot to see what we got going on here. Half the deck wanted to just fall out of my hands. Such good building energy. I mean, this is really constructive energy. 10 of Cups. 10 of Cups. Emotional fulfillment. Arriving. The arrival. I love this 10 of Cups too because it's just so peaceful. It's about being in paradise, you know, sitting by life-giving water, taking it in. And that's actually the message that I'm getting here. You know, you look at all these cards that are about external drive and moving through the world and doing those things, and it does always come back to just feeling that gratitude for how amazing this journey is. This is a big adventure coming your way, and there's going to be a part of you that feels like it's never enough, like you have to like stay up extra late and do extra, and like remember to slow down enough to appreciate this month as it's happening, because it is a special time. And even though, yes, there's a lot more to do and there's all these big visions ahead where you have to like, you know, you have to get your ducks in a row and you have to get the business done, you have to have the talks. Make sure that you slow down enough to just remember how special this time is. Even if it's part of a segue into this next big vision, it has so much value and so much warmth to give you. And I'm loving this reading for Leos. To just have it be much more about building in the world in that natural Leo way that I think, you know, Leos want things to be fun and lighthearted and creative and passionate. And there's been a lot of pushback over the last few years of like, well, today you got to like learn to sit and be quiet with that water energy, right? Now you can take some of those skill sets you learned in past years, that watery intuitive energy, and apply it within the context of you getting to be back into that good, juicy, action-based fire creation energy that I love so much. And what I love about these energies is the sustainability. It's not about burning everything out other than 10 of Wands. Watch that 10 of Wands. It's about steady progress. It's about building something of value. And that's what this month is all about. So if you feel challenged emotionally, if you feel like you have to go explore that fourth house of the moon and of home and home environment, and you are getting called to do a lot of building and creating in that very specific sector of your life, don't let it scare you off. This is where the good building is happening for Leos right now, and it's going to continue to be a theme, big theme coming up for a long time. So take a breath, enjoy the ride. I think it's going to be beautiful. As I mentioned, you can find a whole bunch more material on Patreon. That's going to continue to be a library of resources that you can enjoy moving forward. I'm so excited to share that with you. You can also find me on Instagram at Sarah Verba. I would love to see you over there. I have a few sessions left in 2019 on my one-on-one reading calendar. So if you're interested in that, I'll leave the link for that below as well. You can find all the goodies there. I'm wearing PinkLune as always. I love you all so much. I love my Leo family so much. I'm sending you all my love for the adventure ahead, and I hope you have a beautiful October full of love, abundance, blessings, ease, peace, and fun. I am sending you all my love. I will see you in November for more of this fourth house workshopping we got going on, because it's big stuff. Big calls for Leo to use your heart and your warmth in new ways, and I'm so excited for it. I will see you all very soon.